All right, so this first one says if y equals x sine of x, find dy dx. So that just means find the derivative. So hey guys, what rule are we going to need in order to do this derivative? Which rule is this? Well, you guys are ready with that one. Good, nice job. Either that or you're just very quick typers. Good, product rule. So x is the first function, sine is the second function. So product rule is the first function times derivative of the second. So derivative of sine is cosine, plus the second function times derivative of the first. Derivative of x is just 1. You don't need to write that. And that's your answer. Now they might have this written in the other order, like sine of x plus x cosine of x. Let's see how they did this. Yeah, it's B. Sine of x plus x cosine of x. So B for that one. All right, number 2, let f be the function given by, and then they give you a function, 300x minus x cubed. So again, I'll write that a little bit bigger. Which of the following intervals is the function f increasing? All right, function is increasing where the derivative is positive. So we're going to get the derivative, we're going to get our critical points, draw some number lines and see where the derivative is positive. Derivative is positive is where your graph is increasing. All right, so this derivative would be 300 minus 3x squared. I'm going to set that equal to 0 to get my critical points. Subtract over the 300 and divide by -3. That's going to give me 100. And when you square root, you get plus and minus 10. All right, so our critical points are positive 10 and negative 10. And actually, I should have factored that a little bit better so I can make factors for my number lines. You know, let me go back and actually factor this a little bit nicer. If we factor out a 3, we would be left with 100 minus x squared. And then that's going to split 100 minus 10 minus x and 10 plus x. Which still gives you plus and minus 10. It's just, it's nicer if you have the factors. That's how I should have written that. So then we can make factors out of these, 10 minus x and 10 plus x. And again, your critical points are the -10 and +10. This one's going to give you the +10. 10 minus 10 would be 0. This one's going to give you the -10. Let's see, they're usually negative and then turn take 2. They're usually negative and then turn positive, but this one's kind of backwards. If something weird happened, you want to make sure you check. If you pick a number smaller than 10, like 9, if you plug in 9, you're going to get a positive result. 10 minus 9 is positive. And if you pick a number bigger than 10, like 11, 11 minus 10 is going to be negative. This one is straightforward. It's going to be negative and then turn positive. And so we sliced up our number line into these sections, and we're going to look at the overall sign. So for the first section, a positive times a negative would be negative. Positive times positive is positive, and then this one's going to be negative. So the question asks, where is the function increasing? That's where the derivative is positive. That's going to be this section. So from -10 to 10 is where the function would be increasing. So from -10 to 10, that one is B. All right, number 3, integral, and it's an indefinite integral because we do not have boundaries on the interval or on the integral there. Integral of secant of x, tangent of x. Actually, we're going to just kind of pick the answer for this one. Let me pull out my flashcards. I need a function that secant tangent is the derivative. Like this is the answer, but I need the question. Anyone want to give it a guess? I found the flashcard here and I'll show you. You need which trig function, if you do the derivative, you're going to get this. Like this is the answer. You can type it privately if you're feeling shy. I just want to see if anyone's got a guess here. Which trig function? There's only 6 to choose from. You're not going to have to square anything. It's just a trig function. Yeah, which trig function? So sine, cosine, tangent, secant, cosecant, cotangent, one of those six. If you do the derivative, you're going to get this. Like this is the answer. Which one of the six, if you do the derivative, I'll give you a hint, it's not sine or cosine. It's one of the other four. Yeah, secant, people are saying secant or tangent. Yeah, secant and tangent are the two good guesses. It is secant. The derivative of secant is secant tangent. That did not go well, guys. You're going to need to practice these flashcards because these are all fair game and they're going to show up like this. And it's a no work question. Unlike this one where we had to do a lot of work, this one you state the answer. Derivative of secant gives you secant tangent. Practice those flashcards. I also have them on Quizlet where you can practice, and I have everything on there. Right? So this one would be A. Secant of x plus c. The derivative of secant gives you secant tangent. All right, that was 3. All right, number 4. If f of x equals 7x minus 3 plus ln of x, then f prime of 1 equals what? All right, so we're going to find f prime, and then we're going to plug in 1. So we're going to do the derivative and then plug in 1. Usually the multiple choice are very formulaic, like here, just do a derivative and plug something in, and then the free response are very much like justify your answer and explain everything. All right, so derivative of 7x would be 7. Minus 3 is a constant, so forget that. And then derivative of ln is 1 over x. And it said to plug in 1, 7 plus 1 would be 8, so that answer is E. All right, number 5, they give us a graph of f. The graph of function f is shown above. Which of the following statements is false? Oh, that's tricky because it's which one of these isn't true. All right, so let's read through them and we'll be careful here. So 4 of them are true, 1 of them is false. Limit as x approaches 2 exists. All right, here's 2. That's true. Both sides come to the same place, so we have a limit at 2. Limit as x approaches 3 exists. Here's 3, again, same thing. Both sides come to the same place, so we have a limit there. So that's true as well. Let's see, limit as x approaches 4 exists. Here's where we have an issue. Both sides do not come to the same place if you zoom in on that point. So our limit as we go to 4 does not exist. So C is the one that is false. All right, number 6, particle motion. A particle is moving along the x-axis. The velocity is given by 6t minus t squared. What is the total distance traveled by the particle from 0 to 3? All right, I remember this question. This question kind of frustrates me because total distance means that you should have an absolute value around your velocity. And we don't have a calculator here. This is a non-calculator question. And you really can't do with an absolute value without a calculator. So I'm trying to unfold the paper here so I could write this down. So technically this should be integral from 0 to 3 absolute value of 6t minus t squared. But here's the thing, because that graph is going to be above the x-axis all the time anyway, you don't need the absolute value. And so we're just going to leave that off. That really frustrates me with this question because I think that that's kind of rude and tricky how they worded that. But anyway, we're going to do integral from 0 to 3 of this function. So antiderivative, this would be 1/2 t squared, but there's already a 6 there. So 3t squared minus 1/3 t cubed from 0 to 3. So it's going to be upper boundary minus lower boundary, which the lower boundary, those are all just going to be 0. 3 squared is 9 times 3 is 27. 3 cubed is 27, 1/3 of that is 9. So 27 minus 9 gives you 18. And so that one is D. All right, number 7. If y equals that function, then find y prime. Okay, good. We're just trying to find a derivative. This is going to be a chain rule. We're going to bring the 5 down. And it's going to drop to a 4. All the guts of the problem, this x cubed minus cosine of x, that's all going to stay the same. and then we chain on the derivative of that inside stuff. So again, it's the derivative of the outside function. That was the 5. We brought the 5 down, it dropped to a 4. All the insides, just copy them over. And then we chain on the derivative of the inside stuff, which would be 3x squared plus sine of x. Derivative of cosine is negative sine, and so the negatives are going to cancel. Now, they may have written this in a different order. Like, I'm not sure if they put this like out front, or I don't know, let me see what they did here. 5 times, oh no, they put it in order. X cubed minus cosine of x to the 4th, and then 3x squared plus sine of x. So that one is B. All right, and then I'll stop at number 8. All right, number 8 says a tank contains 50 liters of oil at time 4 hours. All right, that's your initial condition. And notice it's not starting at 0, it's starting at 4 hours. And that's where this table starts as well. So it didn't start at 0 hours, started at 4. Oil is being pumped into the tank at a rate of R of T liters per hour. Time is in hours. Selected values of this rate in liters per hour are given in the table. Use a right Riemann sum with the 3 subintervals that are given here. What is the approximate number of liters of oil in the tank? All right, so you're going to take the 50 that you started with, plus, and then we're going to do a right Riemann sum. So the first subinterval from 4 to 7, that's a length of 3. The number on the right is 6.2. All right, and then the next one from 7 to 12 is a distance of 5. The number on the right is 5.9. And then last one from 12 to 15 is a distance of 3. And the number on the right is 5.6. Now here's the bad news. This is non-calculator and you have to get through this. Again, I am the messenger. I dislike this too. I don't think it's fair. They're not testing you on calculus. It's can you multiply all this together and then add it up? But they do this sometimes. So you got to be ready for it. I'm going to write the numbers in a column. I think it's easier to add when they're in a column. This one's 50.0. This one would be, let's see, 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 6 is 18. So 18.6. Here, 5 times 9 would be 45. So if you're multiplying this by 5, this would be 45. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 4 is 29. And then if we're multiplying this one by 3, 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1 is 16. Again, it's a non-calculator question, and you've got to be able to get through it somehow. All right, is it rude? Yes, but you got to be able to get through it. So being able to multiply without a calculator is important, and also adding. All right, so let's see what this would be. 8 plus 5 is 13. Plus 6 would be 19. And then let's see, 8 and 1 is 9, plus another 9 is 18, plus 6 is 24. So it'd be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 114.9. So again, I don't really like that question on C. They're not really testing you much on calculus. It's more just arithmetic. But again, sometimes they do that. So it's a skill that you do need.